Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2022 Audi A3 40 TFSI Quattro with the Premium Plus package, Technology package, a wheel package, also interior style package. This vehicle is sitting on 225/40 Pirelli tires wrapped around 18-inch alloy wheels with a gloss gray finish. It also has four-wheel disc brakes with ventilated rotors in the front and solid rotors in the back. The name of this color is Manhattan Gray Metallic, and to my eyes it has a little bit of a green hue to it. Hopefully the camera is doing it justice here. The sun is shining. It's a pretty nice color. So here in the front, the actual grille is like a gloss gray. The entire thing has the openings there at the top, a closed center, and then opening at the bottom. There's the badge in chrome, and it's also outlined in chrome as well. But you can see there's this flat spot. This is the radar adaptive cruise control. There's also parking sensors integrated here, as well as here. This is a flat black over here. There is headlight washers. This little thing pops out and has a high pressure spray on the headlights. There's a silver portion at the bottom. Now the headlights are an LED projector for the low beams, reflector for the high beams. They're auto leveling, and they do a pretty decent job at night. I have a full night video if you want to check it out. Looking at the profile, it has an additional parking sensor located here on the side as well, so kind of keep an eye on around the vehicle. It actually has like this visual display on the screen where there's one here and one there, so it has like a 360 parking sensor type system. You can see what's on the side of the vehicle as well as the front and the back, in addition to the rear backup camera. The handles here are body colored. The upper portion of the side mirror is also body colored. This pillar is a gloss black, and then all the glass is surrounded by a chrome strip. This is what the key looks like, and it's a full proximity key system, so you can use the vehicle 100% without taking it out of your pocket. It does have a physical key on the inside that slides out. There's the lock, unlock, the ability to open up the trunk. But as long as you have this key with you, and it's fairly slender and lightweight and contoured enough to where when you put it in your pocket, it's not really a big deal carrying it around. But as long as it's with you, it could be in your pocket, in a bag. As long as it's on the outside of any one of the doors, actually, it has the sensors. There's a little dimple right here, and when you put your hand or your body up against it and it senses the key at the same time, it'll lock the door. So that's the little lock spot. To unlock it, you simply put your hand behind the handle. There's a sensor back in here, and as long as the key's on the outside of the door, it unlocks the door and allows you access to the vehicle. Here on the driver's side only, there is a little cover right here that you can take off, and there's a physical key location behind that cover. Here's the inside of the passenger side door. Now it's maybe hard to tell on camera, but this is a brown. It's a combination of brown, black, and metallic metal accents here. So this is soft touch here. It's like an injection molded. This is like a vinyl type soft touch material here, and then this is kind of like a rubbery type surface that's also soft to the touch. The rest of the door is a hard touch down in here. You have a pocket. There's a speaker at the bottom. It does have the Bang & Olufsen sound system, which sounds pretty dang good. Now the handle is pretty neat, kind of free floating out right here, and it has a little illumination at nighttime, which is cool. You gotta check out my night video. It also has accent lights and surface lights. This handle here is wide open here, so you can just kind of reach in and grab it, pull it closed, pull the door closed. But as far as door storage, it's just that pocket there at the bottom, so you're kind of a little bit limited there. There's a little tiny sill plate there in the threshold. It does have a power seat with a four-way lumbar adjustment. You can go up and down and all that stuff with it. So a lot of adjustments here. And this is the brown leather seat, and it's fairly comfortable seat once you get it adjusted. It is a little bit of a low, vehicle's a little bit low for me as far as getting in and out. But you know, once you get the seat adjusted and get in place, it is a comfortable vehicle. The seats are comfortable. It has this like little suede portion right here The rest of it's like just regular smooth leather, and it is a heated seat as well. It's a 3-stage heated seat here on the front driver and passenger seats. Plenty of legroom here in the front. Floor mat snaps in place. A little bit of tapering going on there on the right side, but overall pretty good amount of space. Lockable glove compartment. Has a felt lining. There's also a little door in the very back. That's where you'll find your the cabin filter. And check it out. It kind of has this kind of looks like it's supposed to be wood, but it also kind of looks like a Bakelite type look to it as well. Kind of accent there. The dash is kind of rubbery soft, non-reflective surface with the stitching right here. Looking pretty nice. Especially those screens when they're turned off. It kind of just has like this glossy black surface, which is pretty cool. The front door, lots of space getting in and out. Now, you know, it is kind of a lower vehicle than say like an SUV or whatever. So getting in and out is not quite as comfortable as a taller vehicle. But as far as the space and the swing of the door is great. The back door, less room as far as getting in and out. You can see it's much smaller opening, and the swing of the door is not really helping with that. It could be a little bit wider. So the inside of the back door, you have the hard touch instead of the soft touch here. You still have these soft surfaces down here though. And once again, we have just a pocket at the bottom, nowhere else. The back seat's basically a bench seat that can fold down in a 60-40 split. You also have the center portion there that can fold down, and then it has the armrest with cup holders, which you can move up. Has the latch system for car seats, and the latch system has these little covers that move back out of the way, which is great because some of them have covers you have to remove and it's easy to lose or whatever. So I like that idea. It has these stretch net pockets on the back of both front seats with the hard plastic as well. And the net pockets, like this is already kind of stretched out right there, so I'm not sure how long those will actually last. But you can see the space limitation here. When you put the front seat all the way back, or even back, like this seat is set up for me to drive, and you know, it's kind of limiting the legroom back here. Depends on the front passengers, rear passengers, all that kind of stuff. Significant hump there in the center, 2 USB-C charge ports, climate control vents, and also a temperature adjustment there as well. The fuel door is here on the passenger side, and it is locking. So when the vehicle's locked, it also locks. When you unlock the vehicle, it unlocks as well. And it has a fairly traditional cap, tether, and a little place to hang the cap. So when you take off the cap, it has this little post, and the post goes right here in that little spot, so it gets out of your way and while you're pumping gas, but also you don't forget the cap because it's actually in your way, so you can't close the door until you put the cap back on, basically. At the rear of the vehicle, it has a gloss black, kind of looks body colored from here, but it's a gloss black shark fin antenna right here. The third brake light is at the top of the glass here. It's an LED. And then the trunk kind of has like an integrated deck lid type spoiler. LED taillights. And it also has rear fog lights and all that stuff. I show this in the night video. It works pretty good. The reverse lights aren't that great, but most of the lights on the vehicle are good. But there's some, you actually do need to buy a flashlight because the trunk area light's not very good. So that's like a little bit of a spoiler for the night video. So the backup camera is located right here. And the location of the camera isn't all that good either because it's not in the center, which is not a huge deal in this case, but it's in that little tacked on spot next to the tag, and it just doesn't kind could be a better position for that, I think. Parking sensors across the back, just like we saw in the front. Here, integrated in the body color portion, as well as little fake vents that are there on the sides. The exhaust is well hidden. So you can use the key to open this trunk up, or you can push a button, which is in the center here. Just press that button, or when you use the key, it also kind of goes up. Just kind of spring-loaded, so it flips up for you, it gets it out of the way. Here's the cargo area, and fairly good size. It has a 12-volt power supply here on the left side. There's tie downs on all four corners, little storage cubby right there as well. All carpeted for the most part, except for under here, which could be an issue for some people, depending on how much you stack your luggage into the cargo area. There's a bag holder here on the right side, as well as a strap to pull it down. Basically, it's like this. Comes down, you can hook bags to it, and then it flips up out of the way when you're not using it. There's a single light, which is poor. And these seats fold down in a 60-40 split fashion, but also you can fold the center part as well if you want to separate that. This lifts up, and there's a full diameter spare tire and a little bit of extra storage space around it. The jack and tools are located in here. To start it up, as long as you have the key inside the vehicle, you just hold the brake and push this button. Now when you press the button, there's like a 2-second delay and then the engine starts. I'm not sure why, but most vehicles start right away. This one has a slight delay. To the floorboard in front of the driver's seat, floor mat snaps in place. Accelerator and brake pedals there, as well as a large footrest. Let's take a look under the hood. To open the hood, there's a latch right here in the very center. Just reach in, move it to the left, and lift up. So it's right here. That's what you're doing. It's actually releasing 2 latches, so there's one here and one there. And you'll see on the underside of the hood where it connects twice, so it gives a more secure front hood than just a single one in the center. It also holds itself up with this strut right here. There's insulation on the underside there in the center. There's also some seals around pretty much a good portion of the engine compartment. This is more for noise and airflow. There's also a this is a soft cover here on the top of the engine. So some vehicles have like this hard plastic. This is a soft one, which could dampen noises, but also it's like a safety feature as well. Basically for, like, you know, hitting pedestrians or something. If that were to happen, if they were to hit their head on the hood, it just kind of for some reason softens the blow or whatever. There's an insulated battery here on the right side. Firewall is completely insulated, as well as heat shielded as well. It does have the turbo back there, so a lot of heat generated in the back, so that heat shielding is good. And it's a front-wheel drive focused vehicle, so the way the engine is oriented is this way, you know, like a front-wheel drive vehicle. The inside of the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. Now it has a blind spot detection system, a rear cross traffic alert, and the indicator is right here on the inside of the side mirror. So right there, it illuminates when there's a vehicle in your blind spot. Some vehicles have them here in the mirror area, but this one is separated, which I think is better, because if you have it in the mirror, then you can get that light mistaken, like other reflections and stuff could look like that. So this kind of separates it and gives it more clarity on whether the light's on or not. So there's door lock controls, 2 presets for the power seat, power windows. They're all one touch up and down. So you just go like so. And it's a single pane of glass. There's no lamination. And then the side mirrors are adjusted here. You can also power fold them. You also have heated side mirrors as well. And the ability to release the trunk there. And then the power seat here for the driver. as well as the 4-way lumbar adjustment, heated seats. And once again, these are, once you get in the vehicle, these are pretty comfortable seats. To the left of the steering column, there's this little tiny mini glove compartment, which is pretty cool. Smooth plastic on the inside. There's also the headlight switch. So you have the automatic, basically you press this button and cycle through your parking lights, turn off the headlights, headlights on, that kind of thing, and automatic headlights. This is what they call the all-weather lights, which I show in the night video, and then the rear fog lights as well. Now it has a tilt and a telescoping steering column that locks in place here. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm 6 feet tall. And to give you an idea of the potential legroom here, I have the seat all the way down and all the way back. And I feel like a toddler, basically. I can't touch the pedals, and so yeah, the thing about this seat is it goes way back there, so you can have a lot of legroom here in the front. Now the back seat now has like 0 legroom, so it depends on your needs there, but as far as a vehicle that for the driver anyway, you could be very tall and drive this vehicle. So we have to pull it up now. So the steering wheel is a leather wrapped, very comfortable leather. Has slight soft spots basically, especially right in here. It's a little bit softer, it feels. And it's contoured nicely. It's just a nice steering wheel. It has a good grippy surface as well. Some steering wheels are a little bit slippery. This one has a smooth surface, but it has a really good grip. It's not slippery at all. It has paddle shifters here on the back, here and here. And then you notice it's kind of thin right in there because there's less buttons. They took some of the buttons, which is the cruise control buttons, and put on this little stalk down here. So you can turn it on by pushing that button, resume by pulling it in, raise and lower the speed there, and then you can push it out to cancel. And then you can adjust the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you using the adaptive cruise control, using that little toggle switch there. So it's fairly easy to use once you learn how to use it, you know. It's similar, it kind of reminds me of the Toyota one that's on the other side, on the older models anyway. So here on the steering wheel, it has the volume for the radio here on this side, change to the tracks as well, and you can press in and mute the radio by pressing in on that little scroll wheel. And then it has the phone, which it has one button for the phone. So you use that same button for answering or hanging up. So if you want to decline a call, it's not as easy to do it here on the steering wheel. You have to use a screen. Now there's the voice recognition, and then this is a button that you can use. You basically set it up, and it's a customizable button, so you can use that to go anywhere you want or do anything for the most part. Here on the left side, you have this view button, that's for the screen, but you also have this little scroll wheel and arrows here. This is all for this screen up here. We'll get to that in just a minute. Windshield wiper controls are here on the right side. You can hopefully see it if the camera will work. But it has an automatic function, so it's a rain sensing system. And then here on the left side is the turn signal, but it also has this button here on the side. That's to turn on or off what they call the lane guidance. but basically what it does is just keeps you within the lanes, and it works. Sometimes it works good, and I would say most of the time it works good, but it has some issues. It also has automatic high beams as well, which seems to work fine so far in my experience. Okay, so looking at this screen, now it's the clarity, this is just the visual experience, the brightness and all that stuff is fantastic. At nighttime, during the day, everything. Some screens are like overly bright, or they have some kind of issue. These are nice, easy on the eyes. And the layout, there's different views here. So you can see this view button. And we'll get to the different layouts in a minute, really, because right here, let me just show you a few things here. So the scroll wheel, and you can press in on the scroll wheel, and then right here is a back button, and then there's these arrow buttons. So let me just kind of scroll through that real fast, because you can see this is part of a menu system. Information there in the center. You can change that to get fuel economy information and energy consumers. The driver assistance, would give you like a visual reference for the lane keep assist, the adaptive cruise control, the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, that kind of thing. And when you scroll down to the bottom, it doesn't go back to the top when you keep scrolling. You have to, so if you want to go to the top, you kind of have to scroll back up. So that's the way that goes. And then there's a back button, which if you go into certain menus, you can back out. And then there's arrows right and left, so we can go into the different views. Now this is pretty cool. Right here, this one, you can have the navigation in the center, which is awesome. So now we'll get into the views. So you hit the view button on this. There's actually 3 different types of screens that you can put on the displays, but when you have them, once you choose that one, you can change its view. So when you hit the view button, it shrinks down the gauges and gives you the background more big. And now this one is the navigation, so it fills up the whole background with the navigation map, which is really cool. Press the view button again, it diminishes that and gives you the gauges bigger. Under the settings on the vehicle, you hit displays and brightness, and you can change the Audi virtual cockpit here. Right now we're in the classic. We can go to performance, or we can go to dynamic. So we'll put it in performance. That's what this screen looks like. And when you push the view button, this is what it does. It makes things small and puts it at the bottom. So there's the 2 alternates under the performance. Now let's change it to the dynamic. So you have that one and you have that one. So you have different views there on the dynamic mode. And then the classic, which we saw before. So those are when you push the view button, you have those 2. I'm gonna put on dynamic. I think I like that. We'll try that for a little while. We'll go with that, which is pretty cool. Okay, so this screen, and this was actually in the settings. Let's go back here. That was in the settings here. So it has vehicle, and then it has settings under that, but then it has other settings there, which is basically dividing it up kind of arbitrarily in my mind, because it's just weird. But anyways, that's the way it is. So on the home screen here, you have the different views, like widgets here, icons, right here. And go to the radio so you can see what that looks like. Turn that down. So you have your presets there. And when so right now, let's say you're in your radio, you can hit this button and you can go to different categories. Now, if you hit this button, this little cog settings, you would think that it would pull up the sound adjustments, but it doesn't have any sound adjustments there. You have to go back out and go into the vehicle settings and find the sound adjustments. There's no quick shortcut to go from the radio or the media to the sound settings. So it's kind of interesting. All right, so there's the media, which is a separate tile. And you can change the source. There is a shortcut for the source, which is nice. So you have a USB device, also a Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is also available, and Bluetooth, and also of course the satellite radio and all that stuff. So the next icon here, you need to see these icons here on the left side, is the phone. And then the next one, it'll give you access to all your phone book and all that stuff when you have that paired. And then there is the navigation map, which is really looking good. It looks good day or night. You can kind of pinch zoom and get your bearings. Yeah, really nice. Really liking the map. It's a little choppy at times, but considering how much information is there, it's actually working pretty good. News, weather, different things like that. You do have a calendar, which is nice. So you have, there's navigation. You have favorites. So these are the settings you'll find here. And then under vehicle, there's the settings you find here. Now the light, it does have the ambient lighting, which I show at nighttime. You can go in here and adjust that under that tile. Now if you pull down from the top, it has a little bit of additional options there. So that's kind of a quick rundown of what that screen's all about. It's fairly easy to use once you get used to it. You know, there's a couple things that you would probably be easier to have shortcuts to, like the audio settings, that kind of stuff. The climate control is down here, and it's a dual zone, so the driver and passenger can have their own temperature, but they're synced right now, or you can unsync them and you can adjust them separately, or you can just start adjusting the passenger side separately and it'll unsync them automatically. And how you do it is just basically this little thing under here, up and down. This is where the air blows, this is the air conditioning, fan speed, and then driver temperature once again. Now it has an automatic function, so you can just kind of set it in temperature, hit auto, and it'll do its thing. And now it has a front and rear defrosters. Now this one doesn't have the side mirrors connected to the rear defroster. It has the separate button over here for the side mirrors heater. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Now it has recirculate the air, automatic or manual. So right now it'll just automatically turn on or off, and then when you hit it, it goes to manual, which is basically forcing it to do it. All right, and then the heated seat is a 3-stage for the driver and passenger. There's the passenger on this side. Takes a little while to get hot, but it does get hot for sure, and have to turn it down. So below that is some more buttons. So this is the drive select, and when you start selecting it, you'll see here on the screen the different options there: comfort, automatic, dynamic, individual. Now when you select individual, and then you can customize it here, this little thing, and basically it is the drive, like the shift points and stuff, and the steering. That's all that you're adjusting. It's not like you're adjusting, you know, stiffness of the suspension or anything like that. Traction control default is on. You can turn it off here. Also default on is the auto stop, basically auto stop start, and basically it'll turn off the engine when you come to a complete stop, and then restart when you hit the accelerator. I usually turn that off. This vehicle is a little bit weird because it cuts the engine off as you're coming to a stop. It doesn't wait for you to come to a complete stop, which is a little bit really more logical, you know. Now I'm not sure how it knows you're going to come to a complete stop, but it does. It kind of, like, you know, right as you're slowing down, it just turns off the engine, then you come to a complete stop. Four-way flashers are here, parking sensors, you can turn it on or off, and then this is the parking aid, and once you initiate the sequence using that button, then it'll help you parallel or perpendicular park by turning the steering wheel. You still have to use the accelerator, the brake pedal, and all that stuff, but it will help you turn the steering wheel and guide you on the screen here. 2 USB-C ports, wireless charger for your cell phone. This is rubberized as well, and you could put other stuff in there if you want, but just not while you're charging your phone. This is actually the volume. You kind of swirl your finger here. Instead of having a knob where you turn it, you swirl your finger to adjust the volume, and then you press these different buttons to go to the next track, turn off the radio, mute the radio, that kind of stuff. It's not as useful to me as like a knob, especially the location. So if I'm over here, it's like over there, you know, so I have to lean forward over here in order to operate it. And you know, it does have the volume on the steering wheel, but a lot of times I'm pulling into a parking lot or something and I'm actively spinning the steering wheel, and at that same moment or around that time I need to turn the radio down because it's like blasting radio and I'm pulling up somewhere. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to turn the volume down. Well, there's no quick knob to do it, so I have to like turn the steering wheel and then lean over here and then use this. So it's a little bit different. You might like it, you might not. And then the same thing with the shifter. Some people like this. I do. I prefer this type of shifter here. So it basically, hold the brake. Let's go ahead and put it in reverse by pushing it up. And you see it goes into reverse. Backup camera pops up, and this is what I was talking about. It actually has the sensors all the way around the vehicle, and it'll tell you if there's something on the sides, the front, or the back, which is pretty cool. It has active guidelines. And the reverse lights aren't all that great. I'll show you that in the night video. It's kind of the tail lights are brighter than the reverse lights for some reason. All right, now let's go pull it back gently. We can go into neutral. Pull it back harder and we go into drive. Now if we press it down again, it's going to alternate between drive and sport mode. So you see right here, it shows us that we're in drive. If I pull it down again, it goes to the S. So this would be if we want to, you know, you can use the paddle shifters at this point. You know, it's more of a sportier feel. And then you just hit the parking button right here. Now, there is a separate electronic parking brake here that you can engage, which, you know, I highly recommend. So you don't want to confuse the park button with the shifter park button with the parking brake. All right, there's a 12-volt power supply here, and it kind of looks like an old school cigarette lighter. And then here's the little storage pocket right here, and it has a rubber mat that you can take out, clean it, and put it back in. Just a little tiny thing over here. 2 cup holders, and they do have the articulating arms to take up the slack for different size cups, and a rubberized floor which you can take out and clean and put it back in. Here's the armrest, and it's soft to the touch, pretty soft. Doesn't bottom out much. It's kind of foam, like a foamy type feel. This moves forward and back. It also ratchets, so it locks down, but once you release it and lift it up, it kind of ratchets a little bit, and you can get, you know, you can put it in different levels there. And then to reset it, you go all the way to the top and then drop it back down to reset it. So let's go ahead and open it up. And I like the way it doesn't flop down too much. It'll slowly come down, but yeah, it's not like flopping around like some vehicles. And then here's the little storage area. It's no lights in it. Another spoiler for the night video. It does have a rubber floor at the bottom and just a small area. And it's not super concealed. So I have my business cards in there, and I will put them in there. I'm like, well, somebody might mistake those for money. So, and then if this is not all the way down like this, then somebody can look in there real easy. So it's not very, unless you go all the way down like so, and there's still quite a bit of a space there in the front. But anyways, that's kind of a little bit different armrest storage area. Rear view mirror is an auto dim rear view mirror. It's actually auto dimming now because I have the shade over the light sensor, which is located here on the left side. And it auto dims the rear view mirror, but it also auto dims the side mirror. So you can see that one on the right side, and here on the left side is auto dimming. Above the mirror is tap lights. You just hit the lens and they turn on. And then you could turn on all the interior lights here, have them turn on with the door. There's roadside assistance buttons here and here. There's also the button for the sunroof. We'll get to that in just a minute. The visor has a vinyl wrapping, and the headliner is like a cloth. They do match. This opens up and you get a light. It's a mirror and light. This does extend out. Same thing on the other side. So the sunroof has a shade that blocks most of the light, but not all. There's still quite a bit of light coming in through that shade. But there's this button right here. Let's go ahead and manually open up the shade. Now we can press the button up and kind of vent it. Not a whole lot, not a huge vent, but it does allow some airflow. Now we'll go move back. Press it again, and that's as far back as it goes. So looking at the visibility in the back, it does have those windows in the back pillars, which help out a lot. And I haven't had any issues with visibility as far as backing out of parking spaces, changing lanes, all that kind of stuff. It hasn't been an issue at all. Now it does have the rear cross traffic alert, parking sensors, the blind spot detection system, backup camera, all that stuff that helps out. But yeah, it hasn't been an issue as far as visibility at all. Now the navigation system has what's called satellite map, and It has a license that I guess you have to pay for it to, and it's expired now. But I've shown this in another Audi where it actually has it looks like Google Earth on the navigation system, which is pretty cool. But we have the regular one at this point. Turning radius is fantastic. It's really been a help to be in, like you're in a tight spot. In this case, I'm not, but look how much of a turning, like easy to turn around it is. Really nice. And the tires really don't slide that much either when you do that. And it's got a 7-speed transmission, which is pretty dang good. I like the way it feels. I like the amount of gears doesn't matter. The 7 gears it's not a big deal. I mean, 7 is plenty. It's kind of like a mixture between, a lot of other manufacturers have more, few of them have less at this point. Some of them have the 6-speed transmission, but 7, 8, 9 is usually where it's at. So this one, just the implementation of the transmission feels good. Feels no wonkiness. Shifts just like I would want it to be, basically. Now the acceleration is pretty good. Once you get the RPMs up, it feels really good. It's just a matter of getting those RPMs up. With the 2.0 liter turbocharged engine, at the lower RPMs, there's not much pressure for the turbo to really help. But once the RPMs raise, it's just like you can feel it come to life. Now I have what they're calling the lane keep assist system. When it's on, when there's a lot of shadows on the road and the lines are not as visible, it not only does it just kind of wander around, but it has like this jerkiness to the steering wheel. I don't know. It's one of those things where usually it works fine, but there's a couple times where it's just not good at all. But I'll leave it on for now. Hopefully you can hear that shifting. It's really good. And this isn't like a super quiet vehicle. You can hear a little bit of road noise, a little bit of wind noise, a little bit of engine noise. There's a little bit of noise coming in. But in general, it's a pleasant vehicle as far as that goes. Not a big deal. Especially when you're playing something on the radio. It just kind of drowns all that stuff out. So, just kind of show you what yeah, it's not even working right now. Oh yeah, because I have to reset the cruise control. It only works with the cruise control. Okay, so there's the lane guidance system. So like on a road like this where it's clearly marked and it's not obscured with anything, and it's wide open space, it's fine. There's absolutely no problem with it. It's just certain times that but it does tend to fight you sometimes, when it does start acting up, it fights you, and it kind of is a little bit of annoying because it wants to put you in the wrong position. Okay, so there's this bicyclist up here, and obviously I want to give him a little bit of room, so I'm going to move this way a little bit, and then the vehicle's kind of, in this case, I'm going over the line, but if I just go too close to a line, sometimes it'll just basically jerk the steering wheel, like that, just kind of jerks the steering wheel abruptly. It's a little startling at times, it doesn't have like a subtle motion, it's just like jerks the wheel. But anyways, I'm going to turn that back off. The adaptive cruise control keeps you at a pretty steady speed. It doesn't, I started to slow down because I saw that vehicle slowing down, but it doesn't like my Honda Ridgeline. It's like it's constantly like speeding up and letting off the accelerator just slightly, and it's a little annoying. It's constantly doing that. But this one is just not smooth. Even when you're following other cars, it matches their speed and you're good. The distance is great. You can set it a really far distance or a little bit closer, wherever you want to do it, and it does good. The handling is great. I mean, you can, these aren't real curvy roads, but when you get on the curvy road, I mean, it's impressive. And now it does have the cruise control. Like if you have the cruise control set and you turn the steering wheel at a certain degree, it's going to slow you down automatically. So it has a lot of some nanny features, But yeah, the handling is good. The front end feels really solid and connected. And since, I mean, it is an all-wheel drive vehicle, but it's primarily, the front-wheel drive system. But you don't feel any kind of torque steer or anything, which is good. When you accelerate hard, it's not like it's, tugging on the steering wheel. Okay, so this car is going slower than what I have my cruise control set at, and you can see it's following at a decent distance, and it's doing it smoothly. It's not doing all these micro adjustments. Now it doesn't have a grip sensor, so you could be holding the steering wheel. See, I'm kind of wandering there. See, I turned it back on, the steering assist, but you could be holding the steering wheel and it tells you to hold the steering wheel because it doesn't feel you tugging on it, but even though you're holding it, it tells you to hold it. And then you kind of have to just jiggle the steering wheel a little bit, and then the notification will go away. So these are a little bit bumpy roads, but not really a big deal. Suspension feels nice. It's not floaty or anything, but it just feels like it's level. When you're cornering and stuff like that, it just has this level feel. It keeps it level. Now, one thing I've noticed, there's a couple times in which I was braking that it just felt like I needed a little bit extra braking power, because it just, I don't know, it doesn't brake as, it just feels the brakes are a little bit weak, I guess. I don't know. It's not a problem. It's not like a safety issue or anything, but from all the other vehicles that I've driven, this one feels like it's a little bit lighter. You have to press on the pedal a little bit harder, and even then it doesn't like have that instant grab. It slows you down more gradually, and if you're not prepared for that, you might find yourself protruding out into a intersection or something. If you're not prepared for that, you kind of have to really bear down on it sometimes. Now this right here kind of gets in the way sometimes, this hard plastic, depending on where I'm sitting. If I'm sitting for a long time and I change my seating position or whatever, this sometimes gets in the way. But, for the most part it's fine. It's one of those things where, you think they could definitely design that a little bit better, I would say. Just kind of sticks out a little bit too much.